Join us at Women of Courage and celebrate the achievements of women. The Women of Courage show is brought to you by the Women and Children's Restoration Ministries. The Ministries is a reading ministry. We believe the world becomes alive when it is explained through reading. Thus, our presentation to you today. All of our efforts are toward demonstrating that when women work together, they win. Yet women cannot win without knowledge and power. Neither of these abilities can come without reading. Power is the ability to make things happen, to move things, or to bring about a particular event. Knowledge is power and education is power. Without either, a person is ineffective to bring about a particular event. Without violence, power is never given, it is always taken. Our attempt to take power has to be without violence because of our lack of testosterone. Consequently, women must learn how to take power and learn how to manage it without mimicking men. The only way we can accomplish any of this is to gain knowledge through reading. You may think that you are too busy to read, but you need the information that I have accumulated for you. You are an integral part of our effort. We are trying to reach the women who have given up, the adulteress, the whore, the woman who does not believe, the woman who's contemplating suicide, the woman who wakes in the morning hating her husband, the woman who screams at her children, the woman who has lost her home, the woman who has failed at school, or the woman who is bitter over her divorce. I am looking for the betrayed, the adulteress, the whore, and the downtrodden. I am looking for the woman who wants to fight back but does not know how to fight. I want them to know that the battle is not over. Failure is just another way of standing up. I am trying to reach these women because I want to try and save their lives. Now to the video of why you are here. We present the video Men and Murder. Reading is defined as the accumulation of knowledge. Reading is one of the processes by which human beings gather information for conducting their lives, which includes working and recreating. When this process is inhibited for whatever reason, the person cannot conduct his or her life successfully. The person meets with bad results. When a person cannot read or does not read well, or she will live the life of a beggar, a cheat, a liar, or will end up in prison or the grave. They will never receive what God had in store for them. Reading is the most important human activity any man can participate in. When you ignore reading, you will have actually cut yourself off from other people around you. Our prisons are filled with people who do not know how to read. Our graveyards are filled with people who did not know how to read. You are not successful today because you cannot read or refuse to read. You continue to think you can conduct your life on the information you learned in high school. Your life is in ruin because you cannot read or do not read. Many of your children are in prison today because you did not read to them or teach them to read or teach them the importance of reading. Many of your children are dead because you did not read to them or teach them to read or teach them the importance of reading. Reading teaches discipline.
Reading will tell you about another man's courage. Reading will tell you how to correct some of the mistakes in your life. Reading will help you solve some of life's problems. Reading will teach you how to find a job. Reading can help you learn a profession or a trade. Reading will help you improve your health. When you do not read, you depend on hitting the numbers to get you ahead in life. You turn to gambling thinking that if you wager enough money in a casino, that will help you survive. When you do not read, you go to the casino and wager your life savings trying to win big at the casino. When you do not read, you depend on prostituting yourself to get money. Try to attract a man with your butt or your breast size just to get money. When you do not read, you will go around the community looking for free food, free clothes, anything free that will help you. When you do not read, you bring men into your home who do not belong there, telling your children to call him daddy. When you do not read or cannot read, you are walking around with no understanding of life. Let me say this again. When you do not read or cannot read, you are walking around without an understanding of life and you will meet with poor results. You will not pay your bills correctly. You will not purchase the right car. You will not know how to purchase a home. You will not know how to complete your income tax. You will waste money at the bar. You will purchase cheap items to booster your self-esteem. You will live in a poor neighborhood. You will not have a savings account. You will pay money for goods and services. You will pay more money for goods and services. You will be at the mercy of your fellow man. Your children may or may not go to college. Many of your girls will become pregnant and never graduate from high school. You will suffer from many illnesses brought on because of a poor diet or poor eating habits or tradition. You will become more and more adamant and shun change, all because you do not have knowledge, whereas you can obtain this knowledge through reading. Hear me well, you are failing in life because you cannot read, or you refuse to read, or you refuse to learn to read competently. When you shun knowledge, you remain in the darkness. You will never reach the light and you will never see God. Your salvation depends on your ability to read.
At this juncture, I'm going to introduce some information on reading. This is extremely important. Reading will determine the consequences of your life. Reading will help you learn how to deal with the problems of low self esteem. Reading will help you learn a new profession. Reading will help you learn how to deal with other people. I have discussed reading on several of my shows. I made these discussions because I believe reading is important. I think reading is a fundamental function in life. I truly believe the more one reads, the greater the life a person can potentially have. This is why I'm going to discuss reading again. I do not think I can talk enough about reading. Reading is one of the most important activities that a person can participate in. A world of information is available to you when you read. This information can help you shape and change your life. Reading can instruct you on how to conduct a conversation at an embassy, how to talk to people that you do not know, how to talk to people about everyday subjects that they would enjoy. Reading can help you learn how to fish. Reading can help you learn how to solve math problems. Reading can help you learn a new profession. Reading can help you learn how to eat better, how to meet people, how to select a hobby. The field is endless to what reading can offer you. What I want to do today is to help you to develop a conviction for reading. Let's explore the word conviction. The word conviction is a noun. The word conviction has two meanings. One is a formal declaration that someone is guilty of a criminal offense. made by the verdict of a jury or the decision of a judge in a court of law. For example, one can say in a sentence, she had a previous conviction for a similar offense. So in this situation, we know we're talking about someone that is a felon. The second meaning for the word conviction is a firmly held belief or an opinion. This is the meaning that we are going to consider today. Think about a firmly held belief or an opinion. Religion is a firmly held conviction. What we want to do today is to develop a firmly held conviction that reading can change our lives. Therefore, we should read every day. I'm going to try to prove to you today that if you begin a lifetime of reading, these efforts will change your life forever, and that your efforts in reading will impact your family more than you can imagine. Because when your children see you read, they will learn the value of reading from your behavior. Studies have shown that the third grade is the tipping point for future success as a learner and a member of society. Up to the third grade, we learn to read. After the third grade, we read to learn. If this critical skill is not mastered by age 8, people not only fall behind in school, they fall behind in life. And the proof of that is in our prison system. Our prisoners are filled with people who do not know how to read. The men in prisons are fathers, sons, and brothers needed in our homes. The women that are in prison are the mothers and daughters and sisters that are needed in the home. Reading will restore men and women. Reading will restore families, and reading will heal the wounds caused by the inability to read. Reading is not a simple behavior. Reading is intricate in formulating how you want to live your life. When you cannot read, you will not pay your bills correctly. You will not buy the right car. You will not know how to purchase a home. You will not know how to complete your income tax. You will waste money in bars. You will purchase cheap items to bolster your self esteem. You will live in a poor neighborhood. You will not have a savings account or checking account because you don't know how to manage banking and checking accounts. You will pay more money for goods and services. You will be at the mercy of your fellow man. Your children may or may not go to college. Many of the girls will become pregnant and never graduate from high school. You will suffer with many illnesses brought on because of a poor diet or poor eating habits and tradition. You will become more and more adamant and shun change, all because you do not have the knowledge you need from reading. The Women of Courage show is dedicated to improving the lives of people we serve. This is why we have designed the Wall Project to provide books for people in prison. The purpose of this program is to try and rehabilitate prisoners before they are paroled. We want to change the way that they think, and books can help do that. The reason why so many men and women end up in prison is because they are ill prepared to assume the responsibility of adulthood, and they cannot read. They are illiterate. Because of their illiteracy, they cannot find jobs or express themselves without violence. Once rejected from the job market, they turn to crime to make a living, and they turn to drugs to bolster their self esteem. If the men and the women in prison are not rehabilitated while in prison, when they are paroled, they will not be able to compete in the job market, and they will repeat the same behavior. People will be killed on the streets, homes will be broken into, and elderly women will be murdered in their beds. Now imagine you are a student in school and you have been assigned to give a speech before your class. You've never given a speech before, so what do you do? Do you sit and fret about giving the speech, or do you seek information that will tell you how to give that speech? If you are smart, you will go to the library and ask a librarian if she can give you some good books on how to give a speech. Whether you are a student in school or an adult at work or in your community, there are times in our lives when we are asked or told to give a speech. There is no way out of it. No matter how you feel about it, you have the assignment and you have to do it. This probably wouldn't be a problem except for the fact that public speaking is the number one fear of most people. However, you feel about doing this task, reading a book on how to give a speech can be life changing. Reading a book about giving a speech that can make your task easier and your life easier, more comfortable, and less stressful if you follow the experience of the author. To seek the advice of a librarian, you learn that reading can help you out of your problem, that reading can give you the solution to some of the problems that you are experiencing in life. Now, here is another example of the consequences of reading. Imagine it is around 1938 or 1939 in Germany. A book was written that changed the lives of 80 million people. Let me say this again. There was a book written in Germany that ended up changing the lives of 80 million people. A man in Germany wrote a book in 1937. The book he wrote changed the lives of millions of people all around the world, every ethnic group. The man's name was General Heinz Wilhelm, last name spelled Guderian. He was a military theorist. The title of the book that he wrote was ACHTUNG. I would say that it's translated as the word attention. Now, the book was not a bestseller, but it caught the attention of one man in Germany. That man was Hitler. Hitler was just coming to power in Germany, and he had made up his mind that he wanted to invade Poland and Czechoslovakia. And he was trying to figure out how he could do it successfully. And this book gave him the idea of how to conquer these two countries. What a book for Hitler to read. Hitler learned to use the airplane for artillery. The book also gave Hitler the idea of how to use tanks, how to keep tanks that were in constant communication with one another via a radio. This had never been done in warfare. Although France had the superior tank, the tanks were not managed the way that Hitler decided to manage them. Hitler developed the Panzer unit as a superior fighting force, and he did this by studying the attack techniques described in the book. The information written in the book by this general changed military history forever. If Hitler had not read this book, the course of human history would have been much, much different. Think of all the changes in the world that have taken place because some man or woman read a particular book that spurred them on to invent a new way of doing something, or a new invention like the wash machine or the elevator or the fire hydrant. So far, we have discussed how reading affects people in their daily lives, how reading affects people that commit crimes, and how reading affects people experiencing a social upheaval. Now we need to decide how reading is going to affect you.
I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Now, the Women and Children's Restoration Ministry is a reading ministry founded on the principle that if one reads, one can manage his or her life successfully. The benefit of reading is enlightenment. Reading brings about self-awareness, and reading teaches one to problem solve, even if the problem is managing one's emotions. We advocate that people read all of their lives. We believe reading opens the door to possibilities and shows a person how to tap into his or her imagination as others have done before them.
What we need to focus on now is bringing positive energy into the world. The energy that we project every day is the same energy that we get back. We've all seen those people that can walk into a room and they glow. People want to be around them. People feel better being in their presence. That's the energy that we need to create. And once we learn how to do this, our life will be filled with greatness. We will attract that positive energy. And how we do this is by changing our outlook, leading every day with gratitude, thankfulness, optimism. And once you do this, you will see the change. I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. Think about everything positive in your life. Family, friends, a career, your faith. All of this is how you start your day. Every morning you wake up, I want you to think about what is positive in your life. I want you to list 10 reasons of why your life is amazing. And once you do this, you will see the change. You will be the change. You will begin to attract life's blessings. Lead with gratitude. Be thankful. And think positive. I think one thing we can all agree on is how important it is to find time in your life to grow with your personal development, your hobbies, with your profession, to step outside of your routine to explore. We cannot grow. We cannot expect change unless we are willing to try something new. And that's what I want you to focus on right now. Are you willing to step outside of your comfort zone? Are you willing to try something new regardless of the outcome? Because even when you try and you might not succeed, you still grow from the experience. That's what life is about. Being comfortable even when you're not comfortable. And I promise you, once you start to take those chances you will begin to attract new opportunities into your life. But trust me, this step is never easy. But what you need to focus on is the end result. Are you content with staying the same, or are you looking for growth? Are you looking for change? Are you looking for opportunity? If you are, this is how you do it. You need to grow.
Being invisible, not to your peers, is not the worst. To be ignored while being in front of everyone is worse than 1,000 knives stabbing at one time. This is what the life of a book, like me, has become nowadays. Since centuries, I've been appointed the role of bearing the knowledge of the world inside me. I have been a vessel of information, emotions, and expressions for many. Yet I have come to an end life worse than many other man-made things. Life is not fair to anyone, but for me, life has turned me into something that is against my purpose of existence. I am a book, and this is my story and the story of many like me. Understanding the worth of something starts by understanding the effort put in bringing that thing to life. A book like me is not just a pile of papers and cardboard glued together. It has a meaning beyond that. The life of a book starts from the brain of the person responsible for putting his thoughts to words. The time frame of putting those words on paper could be a couple of years to sometimes even lifetime. I don't just carry these words within me. I carry way much more than that. I carry the emotions, the feelings, the thoughts of my creator in me. I am an embodiment of time and thought, and I carry all of that inside me for years. Once my leaves are filled with these thoughts, they cannot be altered, thus making me livable for eternity. Once the thought of my existence is completed, the idea is brought to reality, and multiple of me are made to reach the hands of the readers. My seekers can find me in many ways. I can be bought directly from the bookshelves. I can be borrowed from libraries, presented as a gift, or passed on from generation to another. I always come with benefits and not a single drawback. I come from a place of respect, love, and care, but what is happening to me right now is something that I cannot wrap my head around. I was created by my owner with great love and care, like every book. I also thought that once I'm in someone's hand, I will be read and reread until I wear out my time. However, what happened to me was the opposite of my thoughts. As soon as I was displayed on the shelf, I thought I will find a reader instantly. But much to my surprise, nobody seemed interested in taking me. I resided in the shop bookshelf for months, yet not a single buyer. The problem was not me or the contents inside me. It was the same with every book. Once in a blue moon, a buyer would come and take one of us with them. I was unable to understand why we were all being ignored, like a pile of meaningless papers. Why were we not desired, despite of being in front of everyone's eyes all the time? After a wait of many months, someone decided to purchase me. I still cannot forget the happiness that I felt. I cannot express how good it felt to be wanted by someone. Finally, my purpose was to be fulfilled, right? That's where my thoughts were extremely, and after going to my owner's bookshelf, I realized the sad truth of being a book. I was bought by someone and presented as an emblem of expensive gift to someone else. That's where the downfall started. I was just a fancy prized possession. The purpose of buying me was not to read or learn, but to show power of money and flashing luxury. I was placed in a bookshelf, high enough where I can be seen but never touched. The person who owned me had a shelf full of books like me, all of them first edition and never touched. This was not the purpose of our creation, to become a mere decoration piece in a household. We are supposed to be read, touched, folded, caressed with love and care. In the beginning, I still expected that my turn may come one day, but that day never came. Slowly, my cover started to house dirt on it and became nothing more than a fancy first edition book covered in dust places in a bookshelf just for the sake of aesthetics. I was always in front of everyone, wanted to be opened at least once. However, this never happened, and then I started to realize why. My place has been taken by the technology of the modern era. People nowadays don't read books like me. They would rather spend days and nights on their cell phones. Their brains munch on all sorts of garbage, and no productivity or grooming can be observed. This is a problem of the younger generation, the digital generation. This generation has no regard for the experience that can be obtained from reading using physical objects. They would rather damage their eyes and feed on information from the internet that may or may not be true at all. I am not desired by people for the sake of knowledge now, but more like a decorative emblem. Hard copy books like me have been replaced by soft copy books available in PDF. This is causing my purpose of existence to slowly die out with time. I still exist in this world, but my existence is not respected. It is serving a purpose that I was not even created for. I crave being read by people, but unfortunately, it is not possible to get what I desire. I became invisible, despite of being visible. I became purposeless, despite of carrying more purpose and knowledge than anything. The sadness will continue. It's never ending. No one can understand the pain of waiting for someone to use me for what I was created for. I have just become a dust-covered pile of paper on a bookshelf, where no one dares to touch, as they have given me such a high status that I became untouchable.
In the era of speedy development and drastic social changes, the cancer scenario has also changed. Breast cancer has become the #1 cancer in women. And according to research, breast cancer is the most frequent cancer among women, causing over 500,000 deaths every year. Breast cancer is one of the preventable diseases. Therefore, raising awareness surrounding breast cancer is incredibly important, as early detection, often through screening, can catch the disease when it is most treatable. At Touched by the Light, our goal is to raise the awareness of breast cancer and help reduce the mortality rate caused by this fatal disease. We are looking to do this by selling 5 different books that are all about helping you to improve your life to help us raise sufficient funds for our breast cancer awareness campaign. From the You Are the Prophet of Your Life by Gloria G. Lee, that's all about teaching you how to prophesy into your life like God wanted, to the Prayer Jar that's designed to help you strengthen your prayer life, to life-saving advice that provides you with important life tips to change your life for the better. Journey to the Middle Kingdom and What You Must Do to Win. You'll enjoy a great read that's certain to change your life. All we're asking you to do is support our breast cancer initiative by purchasing one or more of our books on WHPR TV 33, 160 Victor Street, Highland Park, www.nisv.info, and www.touchedbythelight.us. And as a token of our appreciation, we'll give you a free gift for every book you purchase. Also, please don't forget to tune in to the Women of Courage show that broadcasts on WHPR 88.1 every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. and every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m. Remember, by telling your friend about our campaign, you'll be helping us fight this deadly disease. Call us today at 734-786-3233 for more information.
Hi, I decided that at the end of every show for the next year, I would share excerpts from a book that I believe would enhance your life and make you a stronger thinker and problem solver. All characteristics that will help you win at life and raise stronger and healthy children. Many of you turn your nose up at reading, or you snub the advice that you must read in life to succeed, or you compare the cost of a book to getting a new pair of shoes or getting your hair done or your nails done. The reason why you make these cost comparisons is because you do not truly value a book. A book is a magnificent instrument that can change the course of your life and the lives of your children. In later shows, I plan to discuss with you how a book changed the lives of certain people. I understand that you do not earn a lot of money, and this money is valuable to you because of all the things you see advertised that you desire, and you do not want to spend a lot of money on a book. A new pair of shoes is more valuable to you than a book. If you truly cannot afford a book, then you need to go to the library and take your children with you for a day of reading. You must gird your loins and proceed at educating yourself. Some of you seem to think that having a conversation with your stupid girlfriend or your stupid boyfriend will help you more than reading a book, when actually having a conversation with your loudmouth girlfriend or loudmouth boyfriend is merely a cathartic, allowing you to blow off steam and proclaim how life has been so unfair to you. What you do not realize is that the advice coming from your do-nothing girlfriend or your do-nothing boyfriend is advice coming from a fool. Your do-nothing girlfriend is a sexual opportunist looking for a man she can impress with her body. When her vagina fails her, what will your girlfriend do but go to work at McDonald's or Wendy's at the age of 60 and continue to spread her ignorance at church? Her daughter will be on the street and her son in prison. She will never realize that her life is the result of the decision she made not to educate herself through reading. All her life she felt that she had something better to do than reading. She had something better to do than reading with her children. She had something better to do than working with her children. And that was going to the bar, trying to entertain a man, or trying to find some man that would buy her a pair of shoes. A man spending money on her was more important than educating herself. In later shows, I'm going to spend a great deal of time giving you some examples of fools. These are people who think they are smart, willing to trade their body and integrity for a dollar bill. These people end up in the cemetery after lamenting each and every day of their lives about their unfulfilled dreams. Do not be upset by the use of the word fool. You tell me if a woman is not a fool to instruct her grandson to kill her husband for a $25,000 life insurance. Let that sink in for a moment. Instead of instructing her grandson to make something of his life, the grandmother instructs her grandson to become a murderer, to kill his grandfather. I have this anecdotal advice for you about reading. Listen to this short true story. A friend and I were talking. She said a woman she knew called her and sought to renew their friendship. During their conversation, the woman told my friend that President Trump had done so much for black people, and that's why she voted for him in 2016, and she was going to vote for him again in the upcoming election. My friend asked her a question. She said, "Tell me some of the things that Trump has done for black people." The woman said, "A whole lot." My friend persisted and asked her to name one thing that Trump had done for black people. The woman could not. The woman kept using the phrase, "a whole lot of things." My friend said after a while she stopped talking. Finally, the conversation was over and my friend hung up. My friend said, as she hung up, she made up her mind right then that she would never renew her friendship with this woman. Now ask yourself why. Why would she not renew her friendship with this woman? You can answer this question in 2 words. The woman was a poor thinker. She never investigated anything that was told to her. Whether you know it or not, A person who is a poor thinker, who does not examine his or her thinking, is a very dangerous person indeed. Think about it. To supplement what you are learning today, I suggest you read the book A Christian is Never Desperate. The information you read will help you lay a foundation for dealing with negative people, fear, and avoidance. This book is especially good for the woman or man who is just divorced, or the man who lost his girlfriend, or the woman who has lost her boyfriend, or the man or woman who is starting a new business. In other words, if you are full of fear, you can learn to stand up. It is just a matter of developing good behavior and trying over and over again, learning from your mistakes. If you email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com, we can tell you how to obtain the book, The Christian is Never Desperate. It sells for $9.95. Believe me, you will enjoy reading the book over and over again, and there is much to learn. A Christian is Never Desperate is not available in bookstores. You can only obtain the book through the Women and Children Restoration Ministry out of Ann Arbor. Unlike bookstores, the proceeds realized from the sale of the book go to programs that help women and children in stress. The book tells you that you can be victorious over adversity. A Christian acts and lives by faith. God always has a miracle for you. He gives you the facts you need to make important decisions, to be successful, and to overcome mediocrity. A Christian is Never Desperate is another one of our pocket-sized devotionals that you can keep in your car, in your purse, or at work whenever you need to reach for something that will strengthen you to fight the day. When a problem strikes, when the horizon looks gloomy and gray, it is not time for despair. It is not time to act as if there is no hope. It is time to tell the storm that God is with you and there is nothing to fear. You can read the book at touchedbythelight.us. You can read the first chapter of the book and watch a video. This book was not written to indoctrinate you into the cult of being a Christian. We do not ask you to follow God blindly. The book was written to help you stand against soothsayers who do not want you to prosper. A Christian is Never Desperate discusses the trinity of trouble, which is worry, doubt, and fear. Are you the person like the Jews in the desert who murmured and doubted and argued with Moses and Aaron concerning their faith when they encountered the trinity of trouble, worry, doubt, and fear? The book A Christian is Never Desperate is for people who have encountered the trinity of trouble. Worry, doubt, and fear will put you in the grave if you let it. Men carry around demons for years, long times until the demons start to take over. Worry is the repetition of one or several thoughts of doom. Doubt is the everlasting question, is something right or wrong? Fear is always being afraid. Worry, doubt, and fear can destroy your continence. These emotions can land you in the hospital or on the psychiatric couch. Drugs and alcohol are only temporary fixes to making you feel good. The book Christian is Never Desperate tells you that you do not have to succumb to these emotions. You do not have to drug yourself with pills and alcohol. A Christian is Never Desperate tells you it is time to change the way you live. Today can be a major turning point in your life. When you want something that you have never had, you must do something that you have never done. So if you want to change your life forever, you must change your behavior today. If you are struggling to control your life, here's an opportunity for you to change. Pick up a book and read it. We are just as responsible for the things we do as we are responsible for the things we do not do. This is the day you can change. Make your life exciting again. Get out of the rut. You can change your world one step at a time. There is no reason why you cannot reach for your dream. Remember, if you are feeling lost, come join us on Saturday and see what you can do when you work with like-minded women. Here are some questions for you. What is desperation? What causes desperation? What leads to desperation? Why can't desperation be managed? The dictionary defines the word desperation as a noun, as lost hope and surrender to despair, a state of hopelessness leading to rashness. The synonyms for despair are despondence, forlornness, and hopelessness. The dictionary goes on to provide a sentence for the meaning of despair. She felt overcome by desperation, the desperation of severe poverty. They hired me out of desperation because they couldn't find anyone else. As you read the definition of the word desperation, one becomes surrounded by gloom. This is a dark word, a word no one wants to use very often. One would say your life sucks if you are desperate. Desperation is not a happy occasion. Desperation is an emotion that can lead you to kill someone, to commit adultery, to cheat at work, or to commit a foolish act. A desperate person feels there is no way out. They are boxed into one behavior. Thoughts run through their mind. I have to do this or else. I have to try this even though I don't think it will work. Maybe I can win. These are the questions and situations we explore in A Christian is Never Desperate. The supposition is if you believe in God, that God should appear in your life causing you not to commit a desperate act. There should be enough information in God's Word to cause a man or a woman to reconsider acting desperately. Below are 4 headlines discussing the crimes 4 grandmothers are accused of committing. What caused or what drove these women to break the law? Why did these women think they had to sell drugs or have their husband killed for money? Look at the headlines. Friday, February the 17th, 2012, the News 8 broadcast reported grandmother arrested in drug bust in Ansonia, Connecticut. Friday, April 5th, 2012. The following article, American grandmother jailed on drug charges, was published in the Jamaica Observer. Either the television or someone made Jane Carmichael, age 52, believe drug smuggling was easy. This assumption will now cost her 12 years of her life. April 13, 2012. The following article, Marijuana Grandma Arrested, was reported in the news broadcast in Florida. April 10, 2013. The following article, Grandmother arrested with grandson in murder plot, was reported. Thursday, January the 2nd, 2014. The following article said, Grandmother arrested for calling 911 to report a beer emergency. This was reported by Fox 8 at GHPB. All of these articles reported elderly women acting badly. The news is shocking. You can't help but ask yourself, what happened to these women? How can a grandmother sell drugs or ask her grandson to commit murder? Grandmothers do not sell drugs or have their grandsons kill their husbands for money. Something is seriously wrong. What made these women act the way they did? What caused elderly women to act out of character and break the law? Selling drugs is not a traffic ticket. Selling drugs is a felony, a crime that causes years in prison. We believe these women were desperate. We think they failed at life and wanted money in their old age, and they were willing to take a chance to get the money. What made these women act desperate? We explore desperation in the book A Christian is Never Desperate. These women had a problem, and they decided to use a bad method to solve that problem. One facet of problem solving that can lead to a better solution is changing the way one thinks.
Most people persist in doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result, when actually what the person needs to do to solve many of their problems is to change the way they think and to change the associates they live around and to begin acquiring information that from a different source. People need a stratified information source, not a localized information source. That means the same old friends. What leads to desperation is when a person's thinking something is imminent, is going to happen, and there's no way out except to commit a desperate act, like stealing or lying. Read and study the book A Christian is Never Desperate. See if you can find information that will help you avoid being desperate. The choices we make change who we become, causing us to say, who would I be now if only I had done such and such a thing? Where would I be if I had married Bob instead of Charlie? Think about it. Who would I be now if I had just changed? Once you read A Christian is Never Desperate, you will discover that the book was written to help you manage your life by helping you examine your behavior. The discussion is to give you something solid on which to stand mentally, because examining oneself is a pretty shaky proposition. It is not easy asking oneself extremely personal questions and expecting an honest answer in return. This is why we have chosen certain words for you to examine and relate these words to your behavior. So far, we have discussed 5 words: fear, worry, doubt, assumption, and comparison. We have 2 more words to go. The words are if and laughter. The first 3 words I call the Trinity of trouble. The second 3 words I call the Trinity of death. The granddaddy of them all is the word laughter. Every year, thousands of people enter the hospital because of these words, and many pop pills, drink alcohol to the excess, or take tranquilizers because of these words. During our discussion, did you notice the emotions these words elicit? The reason why we are discussing these words is because words are powerful forces in our life. We are not discussing these words by accident. I mention these words because I want you to realize what a powerful impact they have on your life and the life of your children. The purpose of all of this self-examination is the children. In order for your child to live a safe, happy life, you must have a healthy thought life. Children suffer when their parents do not have a happy thought life. Think about it. Doesn't your mood affect the happiness of your children? Children are easily frightened. Children are keenly attached to our emotions and moods. So do not think it is just yourself that you are helping when you listen to these broadcasts or read the books we recommend. Helping you is just the tip of the iceberg, because we are influencing incoming generations through the changes you make in your life. You must examine the way you think if you want to live a better life. Our lessons are viewer supported. If you enjoy our lessons and they have been a help to you, please send the Women of Courage Show a donation. Any amount will help. $1 will help. Spread our message. You can also go to our website, touchedbythelight.us, and purchase the book, You Are the Prophet of Your Life. We support ourselves through book sales. The book is also on sale at the radio station WHPR 160 Victor Street in Highland Park, Michigan, right off of Woodward Avenue. If you do not have internet access, you can make a donation to us by mailing it to Post Office Box 7688, Bloomfield Hills, Michigan 48302. Your support will be greatly appreciated. One of the most effective ways of getting ahead in life is by learning from the mistakes and successes of other people. This way, one can avoid the mistakes other people have made and possibly achieve success faster.
This is one of the reasons why you cannot afford not to read the series Women of Courage. In this series of books, the lives and times of several women were chronicled who by sheer courage conquered the world around them. These women are examples of the quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, "When a resolute young fellow steps up to the great bully, which is the world, and takes him boldly by the beard, he is often surprised to find out that the beard comes off in his hand, and that it was only tied on to scare away the timid adventurer." These are ordinary women like all of us, but they were determined to do extraordinary things. From the stories of their lives, you will learn how to stop making and living a mediocre life and start conquering your world and living on your own terms. For them, failure was not an option. Rather, it was an opportunity to refire and reach for their goals again. They have shown tremendous courage, so much that their lives could easily serve as a template for other women to emulate. Your primary starting point is believing in yourself and encouraging yourself even in the face of failure and naysayers. Thomas Edison failed numerous times, but he kept going. Finally, he won and invented the light bulb and other inventions. The same with Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln failed at politics many times. He even ran for dog catcher and lost, but he kept running for public office until he was elected president. One thing about the series Women of Courage, the books are not ordinary books. These books will challenge you, push you, and of course inspire you to gain your life again. Remember, a man is what he thinks about all day. So said Ralph Waldo Emerson. Join us at the Women of Courage show every Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. and every Sunday from 8 to 9 a.m.